Hi, welcome. Today we're going to look at tennis elbow, primarily the causes of tennis elbow, but most importantly for you, things you can do to help settle down the pain. Tennis elbow is designated around the bony point on the outside of your elbow and will probably be very tender on the bone and for about an inch below, although the muscle itself could also be quite tender. Differentiation: golfer's elbow is on the inside. Again, there's a bony point there and the tendon that goes down from there, so that's golfer's elbow. Stay focusing on tennis elbow because that's the one we primarily see in the clinic and probably causes most of the issues. And we've got to think, what are the causes? There are three main things that can create a tendinopathy in the elbow area. One, in the modern world, sitting at a desk working a computer with our hands down in this position creates a torsion and a stretch on the tendon, and it's a constant gradual load creating a creep effect which can load the bone and create that tenderness. What we tend to find, and it's a nice easy test to do, is people lose the ability to turn their hands over so their palms are facing the ceiling without having to twist and work around to do that. Another thing to check can be to just put your hand on the wall and see how far you can get up, and you should be able to get around shoulder height. I've broken this wrist so I can't do it on this side, but you should be able to get up to around about your shoulder height with your fingers facing the ground, palm and fingers flat on the ground and on the wall, so it's all nice and still and controlled, and that should feel reasonably comfortable. If it's very tight through the flexors, we need to do some work on improving that range for you. So that's the first one. Second one that we see quite commonly is a change in activity, which is how it's got its name from tennis elbow. People using rackets that have grips, handles that are too small or too big, create extra work, but also gardening and lifting and other activities like this can set off tennis elbow type problems because of an increase of the activity and loading through the tendon and can't cope. Third one is we're looking up here towards the neck, the shoulder area. There's many different areas in here that can affect the nerve, can affect the muscles. Weaknesses around the shoulder mean that you overuse the muscles in the forearm and create that tennis elbow effect. So they're the three main reasons that we need to think about why we get a tennis elbow. Let's have a look and see what we can do to settle down your pain. Okay, so we're going to look at a couple of different things you can do to help settle down the pain. The first thing I would do, particularly in the acute phase, is use some ice. Not necessarily because of the inflammation, but because the bone gets very tender where the tendon is pulling up, and that's creating a lot of that pain. So icing that area to desensitize the nerve endings in the bone is really helpful, just to take the edge off the symptoms around that insertion of the tendon. Along with that, we're going to work through, as I said, the muscles in the forearm can get tight. So coming into a kneeling position, you can come down into this position and stretch. So the fingers are facing my knees, my palms are nice and flat on the ground, and I can come back until I feel a stretch through there. Hold that stretch, ease off, shake it out, set myself up again, and come back. You want to hold the stretch for about 20 seconds each time for it to be effective, and really think about driving the palm of your hand into the ground so that you're really making sure the stretch is effective. Another thing to do to try and release the muscle tightness, I've just got a release ball here. Just putting it, you can use a tennis ball at home. It needs to be on a surface that has a slight bit of give. It helps the ball doesn't slide. And you work through, and you'll find the muscles that are tight. So find those points and just release that, so you can roll and release that. You don't need to do loads of it. About a minute will be plenty to make sure that you're releasing the muscles, and you should find you have more range. Remember the test we did earlier? You can check, is your ability to turn your palm up towards the ceiling without having to twist your elbow or drop your shoulder improving? Great, because that's what we want, okay? From there, then we want to start to strengthen things up a bit. So we're going to use, I've got a piece of green TheraBand, doesn't need to be super heavy. You're going to hold, elbows tucked into the side, get your shoulders in a nice good position, and you're just doing a rotation. So I'm pivoting on that point. I'm not pulling the band away, I'm just rotating my hand over so that my palm gets the ceiling, and I increase the strength of those rotators in my forearm and stop this extra tightness pulling me down into that pronated position. So that will help with the muscles around the elbow, and then specifically targeting the tendon and the tendon strength. We want to build, we need to load that tendon. It will be sore initially, but we need to load it. We need to help make sure that the tendon gets stronger and the tissue tolerance improves. So I've got a 2 kilo weight here. You might start with lighter. You'll judge it by how you feel. So start with your elbow nice and straight. Bring your hand passively up so that it's there. Hold it. You're going to hold it for 60 seconds. It should be fatiguing. Keep the elbow straight. You'll feel the load through there, but because you're not moving, it shouldn't increase the pain. It might be a bit tender, but it shouldn't increase the pain too much. Hold it for 60 seconds, and I would do 3 sets of those. Increase the load as you feel you need to, okay? Hope that helps. Cheers.